Hi there, it's Eric Martinez with nmbiztalk.com, and today I'm here with Kwame from abqrealtysearch.com.
Yes, sir.
Kwame, what do you do? Tell us about what you do.
Yeah, my name's Kwame Benson. I've been doing real estate for about a year and a half now. I work on the ABQ Realty team. My QB is Leland Titus. He's done this for over 15 years, so well-trusted QB in the community. I also work with some other local realtors that I definitely have great relationships with. So, and I'm enjoying it while I'm here.
So for our audience that doesn't know what QB is, what is that? What is
Yeah,
that?
so this is our qualifying broker, right?
Okay.
So once you get in the industry, you have to hang your hat on, a qualifying broker's brokerage. So Leland Titus with Albuquerque Realty is the one I chose. It is a smaller realty group. We're not like EXP or some of these bigger companies. I like it a little better because I think it's a little bit more personal. I get along with everybody, so there's more of like, a friendly competition rather than a savage competition going on there, which obviously I don't mind either. But, I definitely like the environment that I'm in.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your process and how you onboard clients and what that looks like.
Yeah, so most of the time I get my clients just by people I know. I mean, I've worked in the mall before, and I feel like I'm great at building relationships. I think that's one of my strong suits. So a lot of people that I do end up helping end up being lifetime friends at that point, right? So I'll have their contacts in my phone and things of that nature. So when I started real estate about a year and a half ago, I realized that social media and marketing is a big thing online, and I think that's where I get a majority of my clients. So just posting that, hey, I am a realtor, I can help anybody that's kind of in need of a house right now or looking to buy, flip, invest, or anything of that nature. And I just started having conversations with people, and once we do decide that they want to buy a house, they want to sell their house, then the process kind of goes from there, and it's a little bit different either way. So let's say they're buying a house, they come to me, they say, hey, Kwame, I seen this house on Zillow. Me and my wife really like it. I see my dog playing in the backyard in the future, right? So I'll say, okay, go ahead and send me that listing. We'll look at it. If they're super eager and want to go look at it right away, I'll go and take them to look at it and fulfill those wishes, and then we'll start talking about face-to-face what we want to go from there. So usually first step is going lending. So we do have lenders that I obviously work with quite frequently that I'll recommend. But if they have a banker or a lender that they've used in the past, then obviously I tell them to go with whatever they're comfortable with. And then once they find out what they're pre-approved for, then we kind of start looking in the range into which they're comfortable, right? So that's kind of the first step as far as the buying process goes.
And then it just starts from there. You start narrowing down all the different...
Right, yeah. So there's a lot of different things that come in a house, and as I'm sure that if you talk to other realtors before, it's very daunting, right, for people to come and walk in that situation, and it's obviously the biggest transaction they'll probably ever do in their life, or one of them. So being able to trust their realtor and to guide them, and most importantly, get along with their realtor, it is important. So
it has to be like a match.
Right, yeah,
a good match.
Right,
and you're gonna go bat for them. You're gonna go help them find a house and look through those listings and...
Yeah, and they definitely want someone they could trust. And after we start looking at houses, people don't necessarily know what they want yet, right? Because pictures always tell a different story than what you see in person. So if they like something in the pictures, then we'll go look at it. Sometimes it's not as pretty as they thought. Sometimes it's prettier than they thought, right? So being able to walk those houses and see what they do like and what they don't like in person, I feel is very, very crucial part of the process as well.
One of the things that Ewan said that it's based on, like, a lot of it's body language, and if they have this surprised look, like they're excited or whatever, that kind of tells you, hey, maybe we're getting there.
Yeah, and I think there's different types of clients as well, right? And I think that's something that I've learned through just my customer service background, is that some people are just hot and heavy on the pedal, and some people just want to take it slow. So I always try to match the energy of the client. If they want to look for 6 months, and they could look for 6 months, and I'm completely happy with doing that for them. If they want to buy a house in the next 2 months, then we could put the foot on the pedal together and make that happen. So it just definitely depends on what type of client you're dealing with, I think.
Yeah, and you're able to gauge that based on their energy and their vibe.
Yeah, I think it's most important to match that energy too, right? Because obviously everybody's a little bit different. Everybody, different strokes for different folks. So if somebody, really wants me to message them every day, listings every day, then that's something that I'll do. If they, get bugged about those listings every day and, want me to send them once a week, then I'll do that too. So I think if you're coming in hot and heavy with a client that's not hot and heavy, then that's kind of a turn off for them, right? And you might just lose that client just based on the way you want to run your business. So, just kind of depends. You have to match that energy of that client.
Yeah, be a little malleable and work with what their needs are. And
Right.
So, what else do you want to tell us? Do you have any real estate?
Yeah, so I guess it's just as far as my background as a real
Okay.
estate agent. I started about a year and a half ago, like I said before. Before that, I was working at Foot Locker with my fellow broker, Ewan, my senior broker in our brokerage. And he taught me a lot of things. I look at him as somewhat of a mentor. He taught me how to be a leader in some ways when I started the company when I was like 19 or 20.
Oh, wow.
So, that was quite a while ago. And, grew up and I ultimately became a manager as well and, opened some stores in other states and things of that nature. So definitely built my leadership qualities and obviously my customer service qualities in that aspect. From there, I actually went to Costco because I found out I was going to have a daughter.
Okay.
That was about 4 or 5 years ago. They offer better benefits, so that's kind of the route I chose. Became a management there within a couple of years, and also great. So I taught people how to do, how to be people. How to sell things and just kind of get along and manage those relationships with our members is what we call them there, right? So I think ultimately that everyone that shops at Costco usually is shopping for, for their families or, for other things like that. So I meet a lot of people that are in the, in that general category of looking for a home or selling a home. So I think that definitely helps out my business ultimately. I meet people, at other parts of my life as well. So
You bring in all those experiences throughout your other work experience and even personal day-to-day experiences, and you're able to translate that with your current
yeah,
clients, and that's great.
most definitely. I just try to, everything I do, I always try to, do the best that I can and right, take care of the people, the person or the client or the member the best that I can. And ultimately what that does is just build relationships so they trust me and regardless of what the job is. So.
And it sounds like that's the big common denominator is trust. I keep hearing that, it's
Yeah.
trust, it's trust. They got to trust us, we got to trust them. And so that's a bit very important. So take me down the process, your process. So once you show them a group of homes and they say, I like this one, I don't like that one, I don't like some of this, some of that, and then you're able to kind of take that and then go look for that, narrow it down based on what they didn't like.
Yeah,
kind of
so like
thing?
one thing that I definitely like to do every time, especially with the newer clients that are looking for homes and first-time home buyers, I like to go through the home. I won't really say too much. I'll let them kind of make their own opinion on the home. After they walk the home, I'll kind of ask their pros and cons. What did you like about this home? What didn't you like about the home? Most of the time when it's the home that they really love, you don't necessarily even have to ask that question. Right, at the end of the showing, they're going to say, "Hey, this is the one I want." So I think it's mostly about, if the client walks in there and they can see themselves living in it, then I think that's what's most important for the client. But from that point on, we'll talk about terms and how they want to purchase and how they're going to get their loan or if they're paying cash, et cetera. And then we'll kind of go through the contract and I'll go through everything with them as far as you and Tommy, great as far as just going through paragraph by paragraph and letting them know the information. That way they don't feel so overwhelmed. And I think people feel anxiety when they're in the unknown, right? They don't know what's going to happen. So just being able to explain process by process and what they're getting into, I think there's a level of comfortability there. So
Just helping them through that process and
Right.
educating them. Wow, that's amazing. Is there anything else that you want to go over as far as that process is concerned before I ask you my next question?
Yeah, so I guess after we decide the terms and who's going to pay for what and what price they want to offer, we'll send it to the listing broker, the sellers, and see if they accept it. If they do accept it, then fine, and we'll go through the process of the transaction. If they don't accept it, then sometimes they can send a counter offer saying, "Hey, we want 5,000 more or 10,000 more," or whatever the case may be, and then we negotiate at that point to where we could find a solution for everybody. So, once we're under contract, then we go under inspections, we do appraisals, there's several, I don't want to bore you with the little details of it, but there's, a lot of little details that go along with the transaction in that 45 to 60 days, so.
I don't mind a little bit of details.
Okay. So yeah, so essentially after we get it under contract, we're going to be able to do inspections, right? So they're going to go in there and pretty much pick apart the house and tell you, you know, X, Y, Z is wrong with it. And then at that point in time, the client will choose what they want fixed. If they want credit for it fixed, and there's, you know, a plethora of options that they can go with. So that's the number one negotiation. Second biggest negotiation in there is going to be the appraisal, right? So let's say that they put an offer in for $290 and the appraisal comes back at $280. That means that the lender is only going to let them, you know, lend them that $280. So that $10,000 has to come from somewhere. So either the seller is going to drop the price, they meet in the middle somehow, or the buyer's going to have to come up that $10,000, you know, in excess of the lending. So, you know, that's another big negotiation that goes on with the transaction. And then after that, it's pretty much smooth selling to closing.
Okay. Can you briefly tell us the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent?
I mean, in a broad spectrum, I think a realtor, you know, encompasses more than just a real estate agent, right? So a real estate agent is just a job. So you could go to your job and you could do the bare minimum. You could still call yourself a real estate agent. If you're a realtor, I think that encompasses more about customer service and how you build those connections, right? I think it just encompasses, you know, your attitude and the way you carry yourself in general. So to me, that's the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor.
It's a little bit more,
Yeah,
little bit above and beyond, maybe.
Right.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to add to that? I think you did. You covered a lot of things. Is there anything missing?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on all my handles, Kwame Benson. I'm on Facebook. You can find me at Real Estate Kwame on Instagram. And I'm willing to help everybody. Like one of my counterparts, Melvin, said, we'll take on anything, whether that's some land or new construction or you know, anything you really want us to take care of, we will do that for you. So don't be afraid to, you know, hit my messages and, you know, hit one of my counterparts, and we could look into, you know, getting that home for you, getting that investment property. So, you know, don't be afraid. We're very personable.
Help him through that process. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to add? Or?
No, I just want to thank you for taking the time today and you know, interviewing me and getting the word out there. So
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on New Mexico Biz Talk. That's nmbiztalk.com. Don't forget to check out our website and watch this and many other interviews that we've done over time. Thank you again. Join us soon.